Bucks and Ruby Walsh are now getting on top from Punches Downs and racing up towards the line is Big Bucks, who's going to win it. Big Bucks wins from Punches Downs and racing up towards the line. Imperial Commander is going to see off Voipori Stades. Imperial Commander wins the Ryanair.
The Paddy Power for Ireland and Eddie O'Grady, their first win for 29 years.
Over hurdles and fences, and now a Grade 1 winner on his UK debut.
History being made at Cheltenham, the first horse to regain the Gold Cup. Quarto Star canters home from his second place. Denman, a great effort.
So we're going to start now with the Tuesday card, which you can see up on the screen. And I'm going to start by asking the panel one of the key questions of the week, which is simply, is Dungwib as good as everyone thinks he is? To the Irish, he seems to be a wonder horse, a completely freakish talent who nobody can get off the bridle, certainly in his Irish hurdle races. I just wonder if the British have some hurdlers who can do that, but I'm going to start with Paul Nolan, because you've been there, Paul, for presumably all Dungwib's runs in Ireland. My view of it would be that the Irish hurdlers he's met are probably not as good as those he's going to meet in Britain this week.
Well, as we look at the Cheltenham bumper last year, and he absolutely hacked up in it, that race has worked out very well. And I've seen nothing this year anywhere, either over here or at home, to get near this fella.
Have you seen anything that you think can get Dungwib off the bridle?
I think it's fascinating, because I don't think Alan ever before one horse has so been able to set the tone for a festival. If this horse wins, as many think he will do, then the whole festival takes on a different atmosphere to if he gets beaten. I think in Get Me Out of Here, he has got a serious rival. Just because what Dungwib's been doing this season is he's been winning small field contests in Ireland on heavy ground, bossing his rivals, doing it on the bridle. What he's not done as yet over hurdles is mix at this level in a big field with a hurly-burly of a really strongly run contest. Get Me Out of Here has done that in a Tote Sport Trophy.
Yes, he has.
He's got that experience of racing in this type of race. And I think that makes him interesting. I think with Dungwib, there is that question. When he's going at championship pace, will his jumping get better or will it get worse? If it gets better, then you'd imagine he's home and hosed. But if it doesn't get better, and if he does make mistakes with the contest, and the problem for his jockey is that, how do you ride him? If he's making mistakes, do you have him up with the pace to try and cover any mistakes, so you're not losing ground out the back and getting further behind? Because going down the hill to 3 out, you've got 3 flights in a relatively short space of time towards the winning post. So if you're holding him up in mid-division and you clout 3 out and 2 out, then all of a sudden you've got ground to make up off the home bend. I think he's the most talented horse in the field. I just have an overall concern that I generally don't like bumper horses in 2-mile novice hurdles. I always think of bumper horses more of 2.5-mile novice hurdlers, 3-mile chasers than 2-mile speed hurdlers. He has looked awesome, he's looked fantastic, but odds on, with horses like Get Me Out of Here against him, I wouldn't be playing at that price.
Mick, I think I've heard you say on At the Races, one of your many media outlets, that you would have been tempted to run him in the champion hurdle, is that right?
Well, I don't know about tempted, but he's capable, and it's interesting. If you ask any of the big bookmakers, they'll all tell you he would have been a 4-4 or 5-1 shot in a champion hurdle. When you think that Go Native, I think, is trading at around, what is he? I think he's 7-2.
So he'd have been second.
You're talking about second, third favourite, and you've got even money about a horse in a. Even money with tonight's sponsor, Sportingbet, and I think it's a great price about a horse who absolutely demolished a field, a very strong field in the bumper last year. All you've got to do is just rewind the race and watch it. It was a demolition. I think he can kick 2 hurdles out of the way and will still win. And the Irish will be behind him 100% because they want to get stuck into the first favourite on the first day and then let it all roll on the Captain CB in the Arkle.
Now, will the Irish then have sackloads of money to carry forward to race 2 on the first day, where they've got what they think possibly is another good thing? JP McManus's colours, Tony McCoy in the saddle, Captain CB, the winner of the Supreme Novices Hurdle 2 years ago, missed a year, has come back this year, has looked very good over fences. Mick, is he the real deal over fences?
Yes, I think he is. And, you know, and again, you talk about offers. You don't get much better than what's on the back of your little leaflet tonight. Faller refunds on all festival races. A lot of people are saying Captain CB will come down the hill and he'll tip up jumping that downhill fence because of the way that he fell at Leopardstown. Well, if you back him with Sportingbet and he falls, you get your money back. So that you can't get a lot better than that, and I think it's a no-brainer. I did a preview in Ireland with his trainer Edward Harty last week, and he says the horse has never ever been better.
I think it's a really wide open Arkle. I'd side with Summersby, but I would say that having been here all day today, Captain CB looks absolutely magnificent. It's in fantastic condition, but you can guarantee that Summersby will be in fantastic condition too. And again, at the prices, 5 to 1, 9 to 2, I'd prefer to with him than Captain CB.
Everyone that was in Leopardstown, Captain CB was definitely going to beat Sizing Europe when he tipped up at the last. He just got in a little bit tight to it and failed to get his landing gear out. And he actually hit the one in Naas worse and didn't come down. Ted Walsh was standing down at it, and he was only coming in at the time, and he said he hit it some clout. And he nearly, but it didn't look like he pecked that bad, but he still pecked. And it's just something that at a faster pace here you wouldn't be that fond of, but he seemed to be brilliant up to that. So it wasn't that he looked awkward over any of the rest of them. And I think McCoy will suit him, and I think it'll be very hard to beat.
Carl, we haven't even mentioned Riverside Theatre, Walkham Folly, one or two others. If you were a jockey with the choice of this field to ride, who would you want to be on?
With no doubt, I'd like to ride Summersby. I've got a big question mark over Captain CB. He could well be the best horse in the race, but his jumping for me has been too poor. I'd like to ride Summersby. I think he's a superb jumper. His form is very good. I think if he was with Paul Nicholls and not Henrietta tonight, he'd be much shorter.
Neck on the line, who's going to win the Arkle?
Captain CB for me. I'm a big fan of his, but I think, you know, Riverside Theatre, if he's a good each way bet.
Lee?
Summersby is the one. Love the horse, great jumper, and big chance.
Summersby for you. Paul, are you with Captain CB?
I'd definitely be a fan of Captain CB, but I just think for his jumping alone, I think it just might be Henry de Bromhead's year with Sizing Europe, and I'd love to see Henry winning it.
Carl, you're with Summersby.
Yeah, I think Summersby's the one I think will win. Probably the value, you know, Summersby's short enough now, but the value would be Riverside Theatre. I think he'd be a great each way bet.
We're now going to talk about the feature race on the first day, the Champion Hurdle. I think Khyber Kim's going to win for Nigel Twistman-Davies. What do you think, Carl?
I agree with you.
Paul, there's been so many Irish contenders for this race, and Solwit, who was favourite until a week or so ago, appeared to be ruled out last week. Even though he's running now, there's got to be surely a big question mark about the form of Charles Burns' team.
It's a very, very open race. Go native, you'd maybe question him coming up the hill off a very fast pace. He loved the better ground. Solwit will definitely come up the hill if there's not snots coming out of his nose. And maybe something could come out of the dark, like the like of One in the Dark at 50 to 1.
I was very fortunate to walk around the horses with Nicky last week, and he's an artist at getting these horses absolutely spot on for the day. And believe me, all these horses go in here. OK Binoculars had an interrupted preparation, but he's come back, and Nicky is absolutely chuffed to bits with him. He schooled brilliantly with AP the other day. He did a bit of work on Friday that they were delighted with. So he goes there, he's got 3 darts firing at the one target.
If you were still stable jockey there, disregard AP's link with McManus for now, which one would you want to be on?
I just think Go Native, if the race is run to suit him, as Lee has said, with the hurdle being so far up the straight, I can see it, just everything is playing into Go Native's hands. For me, I just like this horse. I think everything about him is right. OK, Go Native for you. Lee, you'll Go Native as well. Paul, one for the Champion Hurdle?
Go Native will win it. And if not, maybe Celestial Halo with the blinkers on for the first time. But it's very open, and it all depends on the tactics that are used. Who's going to sacrifice going out in front.